Let's do this.
Welcome to our brand new show, The Average Guardians. We're your hosts. My name is Tin, gamertag Tin City Legacy 24. I'm here with my co-host, Reek,
Havoc.
gamertag Reek Havoc.
Wreak havoc.
How you doing, Reek?
I'm doing
How you making
alright.
out, bro?
It's been a long ass day, bro. We were sitting here discussing how to record this wonderful show slash podcast. I like to think of it as a podcast, but
Well, it's not a podcast unless you have it on the podcast channel.
nah, that's
what I think,
baloney.
bro.
I gotta look up that definition. I don't believe it.
All right, well, a little introduction about ourselves. We're big Destiny players, and me and Reek just decided one day to start a show slash podcast, a Destiny podcast. So here we are. Just bear with us. We're new to this, and we're gonna do the best we can.
I like that. Just bear with us.
Just bear with us, guys. All right, Reek, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Alright, so primarily I play on the Xbox One. Been an Xbox guy since the brick first came out. I play majority first-person shooters. I do like a little bit of the racing and a little bit of those. I don't like turn-based games, but like Fable and all those other weird ones. So I'm consider myself very well-rounded. I've been playing since I was like for real, like getting serious into it. I would have to say probably around when I was 12, and I'm like 30 something. We'll say keep it there, 30 something. So I've been playing for a while. Yeah, I've probably got over like 1,600 hours in Destiny right now. Been year one playing since the start. Enjoy it a lot.
Well, a little bit about myself is, I'm the same age as Reek, and I've started playing video games when the gray old Nintendo box was out. Got my first Nintendo when I was 4. Played multiple games up until now. I really started getting heavy in gaming, I guess, when the big break came out, like Reek said. I mean, I played PlayStation 2, but I actually went outside and had friends and stuff.
Yeah, we were that last generation that actually went outside.
Yeah,
right?
We actually went outside and played and rode bikes. No offense. Love you guys.
It's just the way it is now.
It's just the way
shit
it
changes.
is. We get it. So first-person shooters, I started off playing GoldenEye, like everyone else. I'm sure that's our age or a little bit younger. Started playing GoldenEye. That's really made the genre. Like, you have Doom and Wolfenstein 3D that created it, but GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64 refined it and made it to what it is today. I really got into online gaming, Call of Duty 2. That's when I got onto online multiplayer gaming. When I got a little bit older on the Xbox 360, that's my big game that got me into multiplayers. So that's a little bit about ourselves.
Damn, bro, you wanna started talking about like I was playing online too. Just so everybody knows, I was official on there, playing a lot of games, going big hard.
He played Halo.
Yes.
He was a big Halo player.
I was when Halo and nobody was like wanting to buy Halo. I remember Xbox first came out and they were like, "All right, got the bundle pack coming out of GameStop." I was like, all right, you picked 3 games. I had like NFL Fever. Do you remember NFL Fever?
Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty fun. That was on the Dreamcast too, dude.
No. That was
on the Dreamcast too.
No, you're talking about 2K was on the Dreamcast.
No, they had 2K and there was NFL Fever.
NFL Fever was only on Xbox. Had Peyton
Are you
Manning,
sure?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It looked phenomenal, but it played like poop.
It like
compared
poop.
to all the other stuff, but I had that. Project Gotham. Oh my god, that was crazy. And then I was like, I need a first-person shooter Halo.
Yeah, well, I think everybody had Halo. Didn't it come with the Xbox? Yeah, because I bought my Xbox.
No, it didn't
later,
come with it. I think
Halo came with it.
To buy that shit separately.
Yeah, I remember me and Reek in computer class. Reek was obsessed with the new Xbox coming out, and I used to be, PlayStation.
Well,
PlayStation's better.
PlayStation was the only thing though, really, at that time. It
really was.
There was no other competition.
Yeah, I mean, around the PlayStation 2, the Dreamcast was out in the beginning of the cycle, but other than that...
I mean, I like PlayStation. I understand they got the copyrights right now with the... not copyrights, but what do you consider that exclusive downloads?
The exclusive, yeah. Exclusive right.
Exclusive rights with the strikes and weapons, and that kind of sucks for us. But
it's a bunch of crap!
There is some
Well, they had to deal with the
positivity.
Call of Duty for years and years, PlayStation players. So,
You know, they learned, right? They learned. They said,
well, you
"Hey,
know
we
what it
gotta
is? They
get
only
in the
had it for
game."
like a month. They didn't have the stuff. We got to wait a whole stinking year for the Jade
That's
Rabbit
true.
and the Hawk Moon. You guys had it when it was
When it
awesome.
was
We got
glory.
it with poop.
It was still all right for those first couple
It
months, and then they
sucks.
hit those fucking head. They hit those hand cannons hard.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So,
What are we talking about today?
well, we're gonna talk about strikes and raids. That's mainly just strikes, but we're gonna dip into the raids too. So, we just
What?
wanted to.
I
Yeah, we
was
just
told
wanted
that
to,
we were only going to do strikes in the Nightfall.
the Nightfall. I'm sorry, not the raids. Yeah, raids are next week.
Because
So
a
I'm gonna have to
raid,
cut that out.
yeah,
Make sure I
that's
cut that out, Reed.
yeah. No, we can keep going. I like this. I think the raids itself is a whole
Yeah,
hour,
we'll do
2
raids next
hour
week. I meant to
show.
say Nightfall. Yeah, so we're gonna do strikes and Nightfalls this week, guys, and catch you up on what's good and what's not good. But like Breek said, he has how many hours? You got 1,600. I got 1,200 hours played in Destiny, guys. It's a lot of hours. So we know what we're talking about. And the thing with us, guys, we call ourselves the Average Guardians because we're not your YouTubers and your Twitch streamers that play this game non-stop 24 hours a day and make videos all day long
Getting
every day
paid.
about the little things.
They're getting paid to play.
Yeah, you get paid to play. We're coming at you as regular guys that have jobs, mortgages, and grown-up stuff to do. And we want to help you that are fellow gamers that are like us that don't have the time to sit there and play 24 hours. We want to help you to get the most out of the game and the best way to do it.
And not just helping you guys. I think we're actually here also just to voice, I would say, the majority of the opinion on some of the changes and what people feel, and make you laugh and make you get what is that word? Nostalgic.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia. You know, get you reminiscing, getting you happy, making you just get you opening your eyes. It's an experience that, you know, there's a lot of other people that are the same way, that don't put in the hours or can't. Not that they don't want to, but they can't put in the hours that these guys have.
Mm-hmm.
And they're continuously on the game right after work, right after they feed the kids, right after all that stuff, and they just put in fairly amount of decent hours, and they just love the game.
Right, like us, you know, at like 12 and 1,600 hours. That's not a little bit. That's a lot.
Yeah,
and we're gonna try to help you guys to. And we have everything and done everything in this game. So
pretty much, yeah.
I think we know what we're talking about.
We've experienced it. Like, suppose we haven't gotten a particular weapon. We've been shot by that weapon in the Crucible, so we can tell you how we feel about it from that point of view.
All right, so I guess we'll go into our favorite class. What's your favorite class?
Right now, I've been rocking a lot of the Hunter. I still have a soft spot for my Warlock, but
he likes the Hunter now.
It's just the Hunter is a little bit more well-rounded. I like the technicality of the Gunslinger. It's probably my favorite subclass within the Hunter. I don't know, the bow. Everyone's talking about the bow, and I think the bow is beneficial for raids and strikes. But if I'm facing against people, I'm digging the golden gun. What about you?
So my favorite, I'm a Titan. Yes, sir, Master Race.
Oh, good.
I'm sure a lot of you guys know. That's why the Titans are always on the cover and the front of the posters. Yeah. We're the Master Race. I love Titans. My favorite subclass, I would have to say Hammers, even though, you know, Bungie nerfed them into oblivion like they do with everything else. But I love Hammers. They're still good. You can still get a lot of kills with Hammers. That's primarily my favorite. And then I would have to say Hunter. It's right behind. I just think Hunters sometimes are a little sissy lalas. I have a problem with Hunters, but yeah, primarily Titans my main, and I like Hunters, man. I enjoy it very much. All right, so now we're going to go into our loadouts for our favorite characters, and we're going to start with PvP because primarily that's what everybody's doing now, and I'm sure everybody's going to have the same loadouts we do until the Rise of Iron come out and a bunch of new stuff comes out. But you know the meta changes, so for all you guys that don't know the meta, we're here to help you out and try to figure it out and see if you can get better in the Crucible. What's your favorite loadout for PvP, Reek?
For PvP, so that's player versus player for the new guys. Like I said, Gunslinger right now. My loadout, weapon, it just depends on how I feel that day. So that's like your primary, your secondary, and your heavy. It's whatever. I'm majority more sniping. I like my hand cannons and my pulse rifle. Right now, I think that's my meta, my personal meta, not the game. But for sniper majority, I like to play around with diffusion. My shotgun is like everyone's using it, and I'm like, against the man, so I always like to switch it up and try something a little different. And heavy, no one really. I mean, it's rockets or machine gun. That's about it.
Yeah,
I do a little bit of
rockets.
a little bit of the sword, but that's when I'm just goofing off and having fun. But as far as gear and setup with my golden gun, I like to use combustion. The throwing knives right now are poop since they got hit. And I'm so pissed off about my trip mines. I loved my trip mines. Now that they can't stick on people, now that they're not as strong. I mean, you could still get kills with them, but they're not as strong as they used to be.
It definitely takes a lot more, skill now to get kills with them. I remember I had some good clips of throwing trip mines from far away, and they would stick on people's legs and stuff like that. It's amazing.
Good.
They were really good.
And like I still use them. They took a pretty mean hit.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so now I'm using. So I use the gauntlets, the sealed, not the sealed. What the heck's the name of the one that gives you the double?
Grass?
Yeah, the grass. They give you the double trip mines. That's my babies. Yeah, and I just then I do the loadouts for quick reloads for whatever weapon I'm using or the ammo for whatever weapons I'm using.
My loadout, since I'm a hunter, since I'm a Titan, I'm not going around with the Titan skating shotgun with the no backup plans and the universal remote. That's kind of my game style because I'm more aggressive, but I don't know, I'm not huge on shotguns. For long range maps, bigger maps, I use mostly the Mida. The Mida is so good right now. I use Mida and long range map, and close range maps. I still use the Doctrine a bit. It's still good. You noticed, even if you had a counterbalance Doctrine and you're used to that thing like being a laser beam, you notice the difference after they nerf counterbalance. You can notice the difference, but after you get used to it, you can still pretty much get a lot of kills with the Doctrine. So I use the Doctrine a lot, and I've been getting into fusion rifles.
Or is this what you've been playing with right now?
Yeah, I've been playing with fusion rifles. I've been using the Ash Raven's Flight, the one that's the Iron Banner fusion rifle. It's really good. I've been enjoying fusion rifles. I'm not a big sniper, and I just don't like shotgunning. Maybe I just haven't got a good shotgun yet. I think that's my problem.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely need something with rangefinder right now. But we're going to be talking about that on another show.
Yeah, it's mostly Doctrine and the Mida, and of course the Hawks Off when the vendor is good. And that's primarily it. I'm sure there's something else, but I can't think of it right now. I like hand cannons, the Eliza Luna or whatever it's called. Eyes Luna.
Eyes Lunas.
Eyes Luna. I got a really good roll for that, so I've been using that a lot, and it's been working.
What's your roll on that?
I can't remember. I'd have to look at it. It's a pretty good roll. And Armatarium, because I love my double grenades, and that's primarily what I.
You sound so basic. You sound
love it.
Everyone uses that exotic.
No, not a lot of Titans do.
I think that and the little the Garrison Twilight.
That Twilight. Everybody uses that Twilight.
That's
Garrison.
fun
That's
though.
Stupid.
It's fun. Though.
I don't like it.
What?
A lot of people like it. I don't like it. I think it's stupid.
Nah, I like that flying around and shit. That's fun.
Half of the time, I don't even remember to use it.
Yeah,
it's got to be you gotta
have it inside your head because there's plenty of times when I took the fucking the grasp off of my guy and I'm trying to throw 2 grenades. I'm like, damn, oh my god, I don't have 2 grenades, and I get caught up in a situation.
That's why I like it. So.
All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty.
All right, let's go on to the strikes and the Nightfall. Oh, we got to do PvE, our favorite PvE setup.
PvE.
All right, so what's your favorite PvE setup?
See, it's so generic right now, which goes into my rant about these strikes right now. It's just, you can wear whatever.
You can wear whatever.
You can wear whatever I don't think anybody can have.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, you don't really need anything with quick res or anything. So Hey, what, you feel like throwing 2 grenades, or you want to, get a fourth golden gun shot, which we might as well start talking about it. These strikes and these nightfalls right now are just
They're a joke.
blah. They're a joke.
Yeah,
Just so blah.
they are very generic and a little boring. I don't
They,
know because we have no new ones and we've been playing the same strikes over and over, or I don't know what it is. It's not challenging at all.
I think it's the fact that they're just not challenging.
Right.
I don't get me wrong. What they did with this last update, with adding these burns and modifiers and shit like that, that's great.
It made it better. Yeah.
It did.
Mm.
And the fact that you have to run these things now in order to get these year one redo weapons. All right, so let's. So I'm looking at the modifiers. So today's date is actually August 2nd. So this is a Tuesday. So it was basically the reset. This week's Nightfall is the Archon Priest. Let me look at. Okay, so the strikes, the regular strikes, I think they have heroic. What is that? Chaff, which is basically no radar, airborne, and catapult.
Airborne deals more damage in the air, and catapult grenade recharge is lowered.
So like we said before, even with these modifiers, there aren't anything that I feel is significant to like go in prepared for something, right?
Right. So when you're farming, it's like there's really good guns in the vanguards right now. You have your LDR, you have the hand cannon, and there's the auto rifle is really good. There's certain burns and modifiers you want to look for. Like this week in the strikes, these are not good modifiers to farm the strikes. What you want to look for is, especially burns, is arc burn because of the supercell. Arc burn and primary small arms. Arc burn and small arms you want to look for in the modifiers and the burns for the strikes. So you could use the supercell, which really melts. A couple weeks ago it was that, and it was just it was a little bit of it was kind of fun because you just flew through them, because
and that's what you're looking for when you're farming. You want when you want to farm these strikes is you want to get through them within 5 minutes, punch it out, run right through it, and these modifiers are the ones that you put on your additional weapons or your specials, and they just cut right through these enemies.
You just fly through it with those, especially with small arms, and they kind of been doing the small arm things a lot, but it's so much better with the arc, considering the supercell's the only primary that has a burn onto it.
I mean, and that's how I feel. Like even in like my notes, I'm writing no burn, no good. Like I mean, like if you just want to throw on a buff and just run through it, just so you can, you're trying to get like an LDR or a devil, or something like that, then whatever week it is, just run through it. But
the thing is, it could take you hours to get one package, especially a Vanguard package.
It takes you about 1 hour, maybe a little bit longer. So you can pretty much look forward to about maybe, depending if you're running solo and you're not running with a team, and those randos can be questionable. For about 2 hours, that 2 hour period of one little buff they give you, you're probably going to get one whole rotation.
One package,
yeah. And then of course with that one package, most of the time you're probably going to get another buff, so you can keep going that way. So I mean, like, it's up to you. But if you're running with a team and you have these modifiers that we're suggesting to look for,
you can run through every strike quick and easy, and you just keep doing it and doing it.
You could probably get 2 packages.
Yeah, at least
within
2
the same time.
So it's just you have to look for the right modifiers and burns. And like we said, this week's modifiers and burns are no good for farming. If you want to go in there and try to get strike Pacific loot, go ahead. It's but it could take a long time. Some of these strikes are pretty long.
Yeah, some of them are. Yeah.
And there's certain strikes you want to look for if you have half decent modifiers and burns. Sometimes you just want to go back to orbit and go back in and see if you get one of those shorter strikes.
And for the people that are fairly new or don't know what we're talking about when we say burns, these are basically bonus damage for weapons that you have with that particular what was it, like energy, I guess you could say. Like you have your 3, you have your arc, your void, and your solar.
So that's what a burn is. So
Yeah.
like we said with the supercell, it's arc burn, especially with small arms modifier. That's why that you just rip right through enemies.
And of course, you would need a supercell, which
Right.
most people should have it. If you don't, that's one of those ones that you should get. Just the fact that it's right now the only year two primary gun with with an element to it. There's no other weapons for your primary, so you can get 3 weapons in your stash with all elements on it, and you can just and then you get something with small arms plus arc. It's just murder. It's just so easy and quick.
If you just start it with the nightfalls and strikes, the good thing about it is you learn. It teaches you how to shoot better. You learn the game. You learn once you learn the strikes and where the enemies come from, and you know which enemies are harder than others. It's good to know that because you just get through those strikes a lot. So if you're new to the game, I wouldn't really worry about burns and modifiers. I would just play as much strikes as you can. Those modifiers and burns are more for farming to get the best out of the strikes, to get those packages, to get those good guns in those packages.
Right.
Because a lot of times you're going to get, as you guys know, you're going to get leg pieces or heavy machine guns, especially me. I get a lot of leg armor. Heavy machine guns.
For strikes, I mean, it's really good for glimmer farming and your engram farming, I guess you could say, because you get everything from that. You get weapon,
right.
I mean, you get armor pieces, and you level up your guy, and sometimes he might give you a lucky god roll, something or other from the Cryptarch. So it's like there are still some benefits to doing it if you're fairly new or you're looking for a particular weapon. I think that's the main thing. If you're looking for a vendor, Vanguard weapon, not a vendor, but a Vanguard weapon, it's got you gotta bust your ass and just hustle through those.
Right, and that's why you want to look for those burns and modifiers to get through those strikes as fast as possible, because some can take a really long time to do without those. Let's get into the Nightfall.
Okay.
And the Nightfall modifiers.
So the Nightfall this week is, like I said earlier, the Archon Priest, and you have Epic, Berserk, Small Arms, no radar again, and Trickle. So Trickle is
Trickle's recharge of abilities is reduced, so that's grenades, your melees, and your super are reduced, and it affects you a lot in this Nightfall.
Small Arms is primary weapons.
Primaries are favored.
Right.
Berserk is minions of the darkness won't flinch even after massive damage, so they'll still continue to shoot you with good accuracy, even when you're putting big damage on them.
Right.
And then you have Epic.
That's
the shields. They're highly aggressive shielded enemies.
I think that's pretty stationary on all Nightfalls.
Yeah, so it's the only bad one is the Trickle. That's what makes this one a little bit harder at the end.
Yeah, so we ran it twice today with the 2 of us, just so that we can get an idea for it, so we can jot some notes down here. So, like, my overall opinion of this particular week's Nightfall is that it's not overly. I mean, if you're doing it with your 2 buddies, there could be you could have a little bit of a headache if your setup isn't right. But I mean, like, pretty much running straight through until you get to the priest is fairly easy.
Pretty easy, yeah. It's really easy. You'll run right through it, especially with 3 guys.
Oh yeah, if you have 3, it's so much easier.
Yeah, you're just gonna, if you know what you're doing, you'll fly right through it. Especially if you're using hammers or golden gun, you use Goldie or hammers in the beginning, or even if you use Voidwalker, the Warlock, you'll just fly through it. Especially those Void grenades, those scatter grenades are really good. When you get to the end, that's when you starts getting a little challenging.
What? Oh yeah, what's so challenging about the end?
Well, unfortunately, you just don't get your supers that much, and it's not a big area you have to fight with. And he has small armed weapons, so he kind of just destroys you. And you have all these ads with small arms, so it could get challenging.
Yeah. So, like, if you don't know, these modifiers are not just for you. The modifiers are for the whole map. Once you get into the actual, the little skull, the shadow, I forgot what it's called. Once you get into that area where the response, when you die, you have to wait. From that point on,
darkness.
So if your enemies have a burn, if it's a burn modifier, which this week it isn't, but if they had the same particular burn on, their weapons are stronger also. So all these guys, some of these the little taken dudes, the
They
smaller
all have
ones,
arc
yeah,
burns.
their primary weapon is what they're using. So the small arms comes in and it really can frack you up
Yeah.
if you get outnumbered, especially because if you're doing two people like we were doing, there were situations where there's like 6 or 7 of these guys all shooting you with bonus damage, and it cuts
And
you
not only
down.
that, you have to pre-shoot usually at the same time. And
Yeah,
he's always going to be right up your butt. And there's blights all around the map. And you have to take those blights out or they make your enemies stronger when they're up. So
and
you have to worry about the blights.
like you said, the trickle is probably the biggest headache. I mean, like the no radar, the Berserk and Epic are pretty standard on all
Yeah,
Nightfalls, so
it's
you
just
don't really
really the
look at
trickle that gives
those.
you a problem. And we figure out the best thing to do when you get to the priest is using supercell or bad juju to get your supers up more. When you kill those ads with the bad juju or the supercell, it really helps you when it
It actually
comes to trickle.
boosts up your super with every kill. So
Right.
that's why we're
So
suggesting those.
just to make it a little bit easier on yourselves and help yourselves get your super a little bit faster. And we found out, of course, a Titan bubble is the best thing to run with blessings. And you want a hunter tether to make those orbs. So you really want those orbs to help you. It's all about supers, guys. You want your supers in the end because this guy's a bullet sponge, and you have to try to stay alive. And you need your supers to get rid of some of these ads because
I'm
the every respawn is not respawn. What is it called
I
when
don't know
they
what you're talking about.
when the ads come?
Oh, wave, like every
Yeah,
wave.
so every wave becomes harder. So you want to do whatever you can to
So
minimize
there's four
taking
waves,
damage.
right? Four
There's four
waves.
waves. You have the initial wave when you get there, and three waves each damage cycle. So when his health gets down to a certain point, a wave will come. And the first
Yeah,
wave's pretty easy. It has those little minions that
just the red bars.
yeah. So
And
you
you
have the
get a
little minions that
couple yellow bars.
transform themselves. It's pretty easy, and then you get into those and the Vex, and you'll start getting seeing yellow bar
Minotaurs.
Minotaurs, and then after that wave you get into the Centaurian,
Yeah,
the
Centaurians
Taken
are a
Centaurian.
bitch because they're yellow bar and they have
Yeah,
overshields.
and they shoot those. They have arc overshield. That's another good thing with the super shell. It just melts right through that. They shoot
Yeah.
those void bubbles, and those void bubbles will get you. If you're gonna be a warlock, I suggest when you get there to run Sunsinger. It's the best thing you could use because warlock's just not good in this. At the end, he doesn't help very much. He doesn't create orbs. It's hard to Nova Bomb the little
No,
enemies.
well, I didn't get to use my warlock. We ran it twice. I used my hunter, then I used the titan. That one Nova bomb you hit was 7
It made
orbs.
5. Yeah, it made 5 orbs.
Oh, was it 5? I know
Yeah, but it was
you
the
hit
easy
it.
ads.
Well,
So.
yeah, but that's what you kind of want, though,
Well, you
right?
got to get lucky with that, though. That's the thing. You have to expose yourself, and you have to get
You
lucky. You
can.
have to really.
Our strategy was we started up at the top. The first one, I don't know, we just had a sweet setup with all the good weapons. And then the second run through, we tried to start mixing it up, and things weren't working, and that was really halting us to actually beating them. But when you first come into the I don't know, it's not even a case, like a valley where the ship is. He comes out. You have the back level is you have a higher
Yeah, the
viewpoint.
hill. You go up the hill and make a right at the hill.
You
You're
have
going
that
to his
little
cave
cave.
area.
Yeah, and that's where we pretty much were standing because we wanted more close combat, something more one-on-one stuff.
Because the ads can only come in one way. They can't come
Yeah,
up because you have to jump
cliff.
up there's a
Yeah,
cliff there, so they have to come in one way. So it was kind of helping.
and it allowed us both to focus on one opening instead of multiple openings coming in.
Well, that's where the warlock was having trouble because he would he comes in there with you. He's right over top of you, so it's kind of hard to pop out there and try to Nova Bomb because you want to create orbs, and he's there shooting at you, and then you have ads shooting at you as well. So it's kind of you just pop out real quick and try to shoot your Nova Bomb and hope you get lucky. Which I found if you use Sunsinger with the Red Death, you could. The grenades are still okay. The Firebolt grenades are still good in PvE, and I was using the Red Death with the Warlock, and it was working out for me. So
I was using I mean, besides just the bad juju's always good, like we said, but the other weapons I was using were like something high impact.
right, like the Tlaylock. I was
Or
using the mine. It was working.
I have a pretty good roll on my Imago loop, so I was using that, and that just hits like a truck. So if you're hitting them with the small arms, it just they were melting one shot. So if you're accurate, you can hit them with something like a hawk, the hawk moon or
The Hawk
whatever.
Moon, yeah.
You could do that with if you have a high impact hand cannon and you're a pretty good shot, you can get away with that. But it's not going to benefit you if like as much as something like a bad juju, which is giving you a higher amount of super energy than you would with a regular standard
Right. So if you have
legendary
two
weapon.
guys, we suggest using the supercell and or the bad
Or
juju.
one of them.
Or at least one of you guys.
Yeah.
You got to have the super.
You
The Titan
need to
bubble
make
is
those
really
orbs.
important.
Yeah, you need to make orbs, and you need to have those modified. Anything that gives you, even if your weapon, like you were talking about how the Talak gives you grenade energy. If you have a weapon that gives you grenadier, that'll help because you're basically negating the whole trickle effect.
Right.
So
And,
that's what you're looking for. Also, so if you have one of those weapons that you like and it has that option as a perk, that'll benefit you in this particular
That
setup.
definitely does. And the Tlaylock, when you have your super, it shoots faster. It's just a better gun, and your grenade recharge faster. And that scatter grenade is really good. It does a lot of damage. So if you're running a Warlock, it's up to you. It's however you want to run it. I just found the Sunsinger work best for me. But again, it's whatever you guys want to do and whatever you feel comfortable with. But I suggest using Supercell Bad Juju on any character. Or if you're having trouble with staying alive, use the Red Death to give you that help if you have a Red Death. So,
Definitely.
yeah, it's not a hard Nightfall, guys. It's trial and error at the end there. It's the only hard part. You fly right through it.
Same thing we said before. These Nightfalls they're not even difficult. I mean, if you're soloing them, yeah, you can beat it, but you're probably going to be there for a little while. But if you have a team of 3, it's cake.
You're going to fly right through it. These need to be harder. Bungie needs to make these a little bit harder. Because if you could solo it,
Let's discuss that now. Let's talk about Nightfalls. Nightfalls and strikes. Like, what is it? What's the point of these things in this game right now? Like,
there is really none. I guess the only reason to do strikes and Nightfalls is if you just started or don't have certain things. And even today, we got nothing. We got boots and ghost for our Nightfall rewards.
I got a fusion rifle.
You want to tell them which kind you got?
I got the Vanguard fusion rifle.
I don't know, we'll see. But I got boots and what else did I get?
You got 2 sets of boots.
I got 2 sets of boots. I don't need any more boots.
I got a ghost on the first one, and the second one I got a fusion rifle.
I mean, come on. I thought they were supposed to fix that whole ghost thing. Giving out ghosts on the Nightfall.
I think what they need to do is they need to bring back the flaming blue head.
The flaming blue head?
From
I heard about that. I'm not a year 1 player like Greek.
So year 1, year 1, the Nightfall was the shit. There was actually because the exotics weren't dropping as easily as they are now because you didn't have the 3 of coins. So that was one of the best spots to get an exotic. So that's why everyone wanted to do them. And then, so you had the reward, is what I'm getting at. So that was your reward. You had a higher chance. Or honestly, you had a chance at an exotic because you weren't getting them anywhere else. What
was the flaming blue head? Is that when you finish a Nightfall on all 3 characters?
No, you get that for finishing on that character, but they give you an XP boost for the week.
Right, for all your Vanguard packages and all that?
Right, so anything you did, you got a boost.
Which is nice. I mean, it's nice we have these boosters now, but...
But I mean, just to have it, why can't you have them, or have them both? I think the fact that you just got to give people more of a reason to play these things instead of... Well, the Nightfall itself separately is a waste. The strikes, I understand. I'm trying to get an LED, I'm trying to get that sniper. I'm trying to get the hand cannon. I'm trying to get a particular weapon from a package. But the Nightfall, there's really no reason to do it.
If you have everything, there's no reason. And another thing with the strike is there's strike-specific loot. Like everybody knows, you have the Grasp of Malik and the Omnigul strike. There's just certain strikes.
I mean, they give you that benefit with the Nightfall. If it's a Nightfall, you have a higher chance at getting
Oh,
that
that's right.
particular
Yeah, that's
weapon.
strike specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a plus, but it's not something worth going through because some of these. I mean, there's only what I can only think off the top of my head one weapon. I mean, the grasses are really the only that, and the Imago Loop is probably the only two good weapons out of all the strikes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And even the gear is like so.
There's
You can
nobody
still have a
uses
regular
it.
legendary gear that has the same stats. There's nothing. I don't say to put it on an exotic level, but to some extent, it needs to have a special perk or something that makes you want these things besides the aesthetics. Because me personally, that helmet that you get from the Sunless Cell, that's ugly to me.
It's so ugly.
So it's like, like why am I going to farm it
You're not going
to that extent? Unless it gave me something that no other helmet has, and it's like, I definitely need that in my inventory. I need that somewhere within my vault. I think the boost to that, or the increase of exotics or more strange coins, or they need to give you a better reward in these Nightfalls than what they're giving you.
And I feel like they need to be just a bit more challenging. In the Nightfalls, you should go in there and it should challenge you, and it should give you stuff that you need or that you want. It should be a little bit harder to get stuff. And I feel like being a year 2 player, these exotics. I mean, I don't want to go into to this whole thing. We'll go into this another time. But the exotics just aren't. They don't feel exotic to me. And yeah, I was never only one I was happy to get was the Red Death and the Bad Juju, and of course I got them right after one after another with using 3 coins. So it's just I feel like it's not challenging enough, and you don't feel like you accomplish anything, especially getting these exotics. So
I agree. There's only a handful of exotics that really feel like an exotic. I think a lot of these perks and all that, and the fact that they're really hitting some of these weapons hard with these buffs and nerfs that they're doing.
They nerf everything.
It's more nerf than anything, right?
Nerfs than anything.
And it's just not. They're hurting the guns, and it's like, why are you gonna, take an exotic slot for a particular, like something like even the fact of like patience and time, the whole invisible thing, like that's cool, but no one sits back and there's no reason to be invisible like that for like something. I don't feel it benefits you as much as another particular weapon.
If the strikes and Nightfalls were a little bit harder, it would benefit you more, but that's where it gets in. They need to be harder.
Yeah.
They just need to be more challenging. I don't know if they're trying to make them easier for the newer kids that don't have everything or anything. So, they make it a little bit easier for the newer players.
But that brings me to another point that I have written down here. Like, you have these heroic strike playlists for like level 41 and 260 light.
Right.
And then you have the legacy strikes for level 20 guys. Like,
like who even goes in there?
Yeah, so if you should have our heroic strikes and our, or have it just, if you have, no one's going in there, so you might as well make that the heroic now and then make the heroic strikes better or make the Nightfall harder.
They need to do something. And hopefully with the Rise of Iron, they fix some of the stuff, because the only thing to do is PvP. Well, I don't either until Destiny 2 comes out, but that's another topic for another day. I just feel like they have a lot of work to do. We love this game so much, but after you get everything and do everything, there's really nothing to do. And we'll touch on the raid next week.
It's PvP.
Yeah, PvP's it, and just getting the set out, and they nerf everything into oblivion, so there's only certain weapons you could use in PvP.
That's another show. We're going to talk about that.
So there's a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. We just wanted to get a little introduction and talk about the easy things like strikes and Nightfalls and what you could do to benefit yourself and your fire team members, and to go on the strikes and to farm them and get the weapons that you really want. So look for those good modifiers and burns to help you to fly through the strikes and get those packages. Anything else you got to add, Reed?
No, we've pretty much touched on the loot, how bad the loot is. It's just not worth it. You got me in a little poop mood now. I'm like, oh my god, thinking about all this stuff.
I know. Well, you know what it is? We got everything, so
yeah.
I don't know.
I
feel like it should be a little bit harder to get stuff.
I think the rewards need to be better, and from there you make it harder, and the fact that it's harder makes it more fun.
Right, it does. It makes it so much. Like when you get to the priest at the end, it starts to get fun. The first 3 quarters of this Nightfall is boring until you get to the priest and it becomes a little challenging.
It's
It
not even
makes
the
it
fact that
fun.
it's boring. It's just so easy that it's like not even relevant.
It's not. You just run right through it. Like
But
just when you have to open that door, it's the only part you really stop and it's,
yeah.
to do something.
I like the
So
fact that the thinking behind it, which is something with raids that everyone enjoys so much, figuring it out. Like when you walk up to them and you're like, all right, what's the best weapon to use? What's the best loadout I should use against this guy? Figuring it out is the best part, but once you figure it out, then he's easy.
right, yeah.
Yeah. But I
Once you
mean,
get
that's
and it
fun.
takes a while too. It takes a while. You don't beat it once and then, oh, I got to figure it out. I'm gonna beat it easy peasy every time.
Right.
That's why people love raids. It takes a little while to just be able to go in there and run through it like these striking nightfalls.
So what's your favorite strikes?
My favorite strike. Let's see. I
You
would
can name a
say
couple.
Omnigul, but I was in there 16 hours before there was the nightfall trying to get this grasp. I got one grasp in 16 hours of farming Omnigul.
So you like it just for the farming?
I like Omnigul because I feel it's a little challenging. Omnigul's probably one of the most challenging strikes. I like Omnigul strike and the Bond brothers. I like that one as well. I would have to say they're my two favorite.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, yeah.
I gotta go with my old school. Like year one strikes were way better than these new strikes.
The new strikes
Like,
are okay.
but do you remember like the summoning pit and the nexus and the devil's lair? Probably off the top of my head, like some of the best. I remember being on the nexus with burn modifiers and like the whole process of getting to him, and then he came down and there was really nowhere to hide if you're not cheesing it, of course. And then you're shooting, and then the guys load up, and you're spawning around that
You have to
that
run
circle.
backwards.
Well, no, it's just a arena. It's a circle. You jump down, and you can't go back up. But I mean, you could cheese it. Of course, there's a couple spots. Oh, it was so much fun in the summoning pit. You were scared to go in there. People were sitting in the doorway, sniping at the dude because they did not want to go inside that room. Like and the steps of it, as far as like the Devil's Lair step. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh no, I can't think of it.
All right, so the devil, like you would basically start, and then they have like a mid boss. You have that walker in the middle on the Cosmodrome. You set like a big walker in the middle,
Oh
and you gotta
yeah,
shoot
yeah,
him from
yeah, yeah. I know
afar,
what you're talking
and
about.
then you go upstairs, and it's that big circle boss.
Yeah,
head
yeah, I know
guy.
what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so like those are the things that I like. I like a little bit of length. I don't want them too long and too hard because then no one's going to want to do them. But then I need them long enough where I feel like it's a strike. There's a reason why I'm going through this. There's a middle boss and an end boss, and there's like they should throw in like a puzzle or two, even though you already know them all. But still, like the same thing with raids, you already know them, but they're fun. How to get through certain mind games also instead of just having a good headshot.
And I feel that's half the problem is a lot of their content is, it's not existent. You don't do it. It's obsolete. We should be able to play all the strikes year one and year two. You're playing the same strikes over and over and over and over, and it just gets boring.
Yeah, I just don't know how hard it is to make more strike gear for the old stuff and force people to run it through. Because if you put all of them all together, it doubles the amount. Then when you're running these farming for the actual strikes, you have a more range of maps instead of the same ones getting hit with the same strike back to back. Like that's poop.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty bad where you have to look for certain modifiers and burns to run through the strikes to get the loot instead of going through it and just enjoying the strikes.
Yeah, I don't know. Just listen to us, Bungie. I don't know if you guys ever hear this.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm sure it's a lot harder than what we probably think it is, but I don't think it's as hard as that. Like the fact of just adding a few things here and there, it should be fairly easy.
I don't know. We don't develop games, so like you said, it could be a lot harder than we know. But I don't feel like you should abandon your content, and I feel other people don't abandon their content, and Bungie just abandoned their content.
I don't know. That might be to do with the fact that they might be getting ready for this. Everyone's saying that they're getting ready for Destiny 2, so they're just throwing their resources to the side here and focusing on that, and then they're giving us bullshit the people that are just giving us the bare minimal because they're getting and saving all their ideas for the new stuff.
Well, we got the Rise Iron. That's another topic, getting into all that stuff. So, well, I appreciate you guys listening to us. We're excited for you guys to be on this journey with us, getting to know you, you guys getting to know us. We helping you guys, moving along with Destiny, giving you our knowledge, you guys giving us your knowledge, and just talking about Destiny as average, everyday guys and girls that have jobs and everything. We sympathize with you. We don't play the game all day, so that's what we're excited to do. And
So where can they reach out to us?
well, we have Facebook of Average Guardians. We do have a Twitter, but it's still in the works, guys. So you can find us on Facebook at Average Guardians at facebook.com. We're gonna have a YouTube channel, Average Guardians, and you guys can get a hold of us on our email at averageguardians3@gmail.com. If you guys want to email us, that's where you get a hold of us mostly. Is emails on Gmail.
Oh, well, everyone, thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Yep,
we'll holler at you next week, right?
All right. Yep. Talk to you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.
This is amazing!